Before we dive into this episode, we wanted to take the opportunity to say a heartfelt thank you for being here. Whether you've been with us from the very beginning when we started this podcast in 2019 or you're new, welcome.
We hope you enjoy what you hear, and if you do, please download it, share it with friends, and leave a review. It really helps us get better guests and share the midlife love.
As 2025 draws to a close, this episode feels rather special to us. It's not about goals or resolutions, it's a review, where we share what's shaped us and what's mattered most along the way. We touch upon how our bodies have changed and how we've adapted our training, friendships and connections, faith and James's book.
We also want to take this opportunity to say a heartfelt thank you to all of you for listening, for sharing the podcast, for your kind messages, and your trust and support. This will be our final episode before Christmas and New Year. So wherever you are listening, we hope this season brings you joy, rest, and a moment to breathe before the next chapter begins. See you in 2026. Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
And me, Claire. It's the last one of 2025.
That's a wrap for 2025.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, we're kind of really excited to do this podcast today because it is the last one of 2025. And also, we're just going to be exploring and sharing some of the key bits really of our 2025, the things, I suppose it's not just the stuff that we've learned, but it's the things that we are proud of and excited about, and we just wanted to share that with you really. A little roundup.
Yeah, we started this with the idea of like, lessons from 2025, but then we actually were talking about it and we thought it's more I guess a review
That's a good word.
Of the year. But just before we get into that, there's no real updates from us apart from we have had our Spotify Wrapped. So,
what is that? No one knows what that is.
Spotify Wrapped, obviously, the podcast, you'll listen to this on a channel, maybe Apple Podcasts, maybe Spotify, maybe something else. The two main ones are, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You don't get a Wrapped from Apple, I don't think, but Spotify do this thing called Wrapped, where they send you at the end of the year like loads of stats about your audience and your podcast. And so, first up, just massive thank you to all our listeners, old and new. Stand out for us was that our audience increased by 999% over the year.
Which is crazy.
Crazy. I think we're in 69 countries. And interestingly,
we listened to more than, I don't know what that is.
A lot. Oh, no. So we listened to and shared more than 95% of other podcasts. We're in the top 5% essentially for being listened to and for being shared. So a huge thank you.
Thank you. We probably should have had those stats to hand, but never mind. You get the deal. We're happy.
Yeah, and it's great because I think doing a podcast is a strange experience. Right, Claire and I sit here and record these, but they can then go out into the ether, and you kind of don't know what's happened to them. So just a massive thank you for those of you that are finding them. If you are enjoying it, please do us a favour, like, share, tell your friends, leave us a nice little one-liner review and a 5-star rating. It all helps more people discover us.
It really, really does. So yes, thank you. That was one of our lovely little endings to 2025. But yeah, so we just wanted to share a review. So I think let's dive into it, shall we? James and I are kind of going to take it one at a time, because I think that's the best way to do it, because some of his aren't.
No, really? We should talk over each other at the same time.
Don't be rude. It's probably an obvious thing to say, but we're gonna each share one of our own individual kind of reviews or lessons or things that we're most proud of and excited about from 2025. because they are different. There might be some crossover, but they are slightly different. So why don't I give you the floor, Mr.
Oh,
D?
it's ladies first, surely.
Oh, I wish. I wish. Oh, it's not always the case, Mr. Barge through a door before me.
Well, okay, age before beauty then.
He slammed the door in my face. No, I'm only joking. He's mostly very chivalrous most of the time.
Mostly.
No, you are. Okay, so you go. You go
Okay.
first.
So my first, I guess the big landmark thing for me, or one of the big landmark things for me this year was my book, The Midlife Male Handbook, coming out. And I kind of wanted to talk about the experience of that because I guess it's a metaphor for life in a way. And anyone that's listening that has something they want to achieve and they're struggling with it and it's taking a long time. So, that book was over 3 years from actually thinking about, oh, I should write this, to getting it done with lots of false starts, lots of procrastination, lots of putting it down and coming back to it. So it was a process, and it did take a long, long time. But in the end, it was worth it because that book came out in March, and it's just opened doors for me, and I've got to reach so many more people, and so many men have reached out to me saying, wow, it all makes sense how I'm feeling now. I've gone and delivered keynotes to big audiences where men feel heard and understood, I think, for the first time with what they're going through at midlife. So it's having the impact that I wanted it to have. And it's not just men, women are talking to me about, oh, I understand now, or I'm more empathetic or sympathetic to what my partner's going through. I didn't know any of this. And it's brought other great men and women into my life that are doing work in this area as well. So hopefully, I know for sure that next year we'll continue to amplify the message and put men's midlife health like front and central, really, because I think it is so important. But yeah, just for me, the whole thing of getting a book out, having a book launch party
With a publisher, you actually
publisher,
haven't said
with a publisher,
with a publisher. You had a publisher say yes.
getting to
They love
speak
the
at
idea.
events about the book, about the subject matter in the book, doing book signings. But yeah, I think it's one of those things. So you put a lot of time and energy into a project like this. Again, never really knowing what the result is, right? Why would you write a book? It's going to take you literally hours, days, weeks, months of your time, and you don't know what the end result is. Obviously, you have a book, but you're kind of like, wow, what happens then? So it's definitely been a learning, and it's been a very beautiful process, and it is inspiring me to write more. So look out for more from us and from me next year.
I think if it's okay to make a reflection, I think it's taught you quite a lot about patience. Because I know you struggle with patience. Most of us do, right? Most of us do. But I have seen, obviously, being so close to James for the last 10 years, like how he struggles with patience. And then, as we all do as well, the disappointments, the knockdowns, but just being patient, staying steady, keeping on it because he believes in it. And I think I've seen you become a lot more patient because of that.
Oh, thank you.
And also it's hugely inspired me to talk. James's book and everything he's doing in men's health has really inspired me and taught me what men are going through, and that actually women should be allies to men, that we should not be in competition or feel this sense of division or getting our own back on men because men have had it good for all of that kind of stuff. No, I think there is a definite shift anyway in society. I believe that women are seeing some of, I suppose, what I would say like toxic feminism traits coming out. But it's really inspired me as a woman, to help and support men with my voice and help change the narrative. Maybe say some of the things that they don't feel like they can because they're a man, whereas I can because I'm a woman. So yes.
And thank you for all your support and patience and understanding. Well, I've gone through this very long process that wasn't just about writing a book. It was about me finding purpose and direction and learning about myself. So yeah, there's a whole lot wrapped up in that book for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there
Thank
with
you.
me and for me.
Thank you for saying that. And I learned a lot about encouraging you and how I should, as your wife, encourage you. Not should, but want to. But the outcome of me shifting the way I was towards you and encouraging you and telling you like I believed in you because I do, and just being that support underneath it all, not wanting to be in the limelight, not wanting to, but just being that kind of grounding force for you underneath it all. It taught me a lot as well. So thank you. Um, that's a really long one, actually, because I had something to say, obviously. When does Claire not have something to say about something? But I wanted to respond to what James was saying. Another one, I don't really know how I'm going to communicate this because I'm still figuring out what this means myself. But one of the big shifts this year has been physical for me. And what I mean by that is I've really had to adjust my expectations of my body. I have really had to adjust how much cardio specifically that I do. Now, one of the things I've really noticed is that when I do too much cardio, and that could be maybe 3 sessions a week. So I'm definitely doing two. Two seems to be fine. If I push it to 3 sessions a week, cardio sessions, and they're not long, it's a couple of runs and maybe I've done a hit or something.
Some of your runs are quite long, though. I've got to just put this out there. Claire will run
I
like
love
7 kilometers plus very fast.
So it's about awareness. So again, thank you for that feedback, because I think sometimes we're blinkered, right? And we don't really know. We're just on autopilot. And it's good to have that reflection. But I think I've had to really accept, there's been a level of acceptance that actually what happens to my body when I do too much cardio is it feels really great when I'm doing it. And just afterwards, I get that runner's high or that cardio high. But sometimes, more frequently now than ever before, I will go downhill very quickly. I'll get very tired very quickly. I can literally feel my body's gone into a stress response. I can almost feel the cortisol going through my body too much. And I get quite depressed, which is new. So because of all the cortisol going through my body and because I've overdone it, I can then feel very tired, very low, but therefore also quite depressed. So that's quite new for me. I've always had the high, the high, the high, but none of the real negative implications. And this is perimenopause, isn't it? So this is the shift in estrogen, progesterone. It's the impact of cortisol on those sex hormones. So I just wanted to share that. I'm still navigating it. I still haven't got it right. I probably still don't accept what's really going on. And I'm just finding my own way because we're all individual. What works for me won't work for anyone else. So I'm just finding my rhythm, finding my pattern, whilst also honouring this change that's going on in my body, honouring the hormonal shifts, but also, doing what I love still. So I'm trying to find that pattern.
And looking fantastic doing it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are.
Be more accepting of, how I look. Absolutely.
You look amazing.
Thank you, my love. But that grows all the time. And, I think that is, as I've always said, it's an inside job. But I think it's also an age job, like wisdom that comes with age. There's an acceptance to me that wasn't there even a year ago. So that's one of mine.
Well, it's actually one of mine as well. So I think I've always been guilty of overtraining, particularly when it came to weight. So I've been wanting to chase results, but putting so much volume into my workouts that they were very long. And I think they turn, particularly with age, they can make counterproductive. So I thought I'd experiment and kind of decrease the volume of training and focus more on compound moves, heavier weights, and the results have been like I'm like stacked on more muscle, I think, at any point in my life. So that's been great. And in tandem with that has been about, making sure I'm not over training and having the adequate recovery. And that's been a real learning lesson, and it's working really well. Having said that, we are at that time of year where I am carrying a little bit too much excess timber.
He's actually not. But also what I love, and reflection back at you as well, is that, again, being completely honest, laying our cards on the table, both of us used to sometimes probably obsess a little bit too much if we had overindulged. And I'm not saying like just once or twice, but around Christmas, if you're overindulging for ages, and then we'd probably it's not that we would be
I can
restrictive.
see five boxes of chocolates from where I'm sat right now, listeners.
can see five. Honestly, we're not.
Plus some mince pies.
We're not joking. We can see 5 boxes of chocolate. Life's for living, but that is part of it. It's like we've very much relaxed around. We're not restrictive after that. We're kind of like, okay, that's that. We're just a bit more balanced, and I love that about you, because that makes me more balanced, and we're just happier.
Yes,
just
we
the
are.
way we are. So my next one, is it me?
It's you, because I was
Me.
my physical. Yes, so
Yes. So my next one, I would say, would be, I'm not going to say the one that's next on my list, because I know I want James to be able to share that one first, because again, ours are fairly similar.
copycat.
Um, oi. So one of mine is, again, speaking my truth. And you're probably listening to this thinking, Claire, you've always spoken your truth. That might be the case, but I have in the past probably censored a lot more than I would have liked to, and is good for my soul. Now, I think it's very, very good to always question what you're saying. I think it's very good to be considered and speak from a place, hopefully, of integrity and openness to other people's opinions. Not saying that my opinion is right, I'm right, blah, blah, blah. And I hope that I've always had that balance in everything that I've said in the past. But now I just feel a lot more settled in myself to speak about some of the stuff that's really on my heart, and hopefully continue to do it in a way that is balanced, that isn't self-righteous, that is just expressive and offering a point of view, not the right point of view. But I just feel a lot more confident in my own sense of power, not powerful, but internally just okay with expressing what's on my heart. And so I think that has been without worrying what people think of me. So it's kind of like letting go a lot this year of the bullshit of worrying, really, or how's that going to come across? What will people think about me if I say that? What if I open up about my faith? What if I open up about my thoughts around anti-Semitism? What if all of these things? I'm like, no, no, no. And I've really found my voice on LinkedIn. It's a place where I wasn't very known, probably not I mean, I'm not very known on there, but a place where I still feel that I can be myself and speak about topics that are important. That's been a blessing as an outlet, for me to share the things that are important.
Yeah, and I've witnessed that growth, and it's been amazing and beautiful, and I'm really proud of you, the way you put yourself out there now, and all the connections you make, and the
Yes.
fact you're jumping on calls with random people all
Random.
over the world, just because it's like, let's just connect and chat. So
That
yeah,
from LinkedIn, by the way, it has been mega for me. I have literally met so many incredible people all across the world that, like James said, I just jump on the call with, whether it's for a post about faith, whether it's a post about anti-Semitism, whether it's a post about men's health. It's been incredible.
my next one has been leaning more and finding and connecting more with friends. So friends have always been super important to me. I'm very blessed to have
You are.
amazing friendship groups and some really, truly amazing, loyal, supportive, incredible friends.
Can I just say, if any of you are listening to this, I think you're all wonderful. Those friends of James's, I think it's such a rare. I'm just about to say, makes me emotional. It's so beautiful, those friendships you have.
Thank you, thank you. They are beautiful, and the reality is, as we get older and we have more in our lives, it does get harder and harder to physically connect with our friends, to actually see them in person, spend time with them. But I've really, in this year just gone by, been trying to lean into that as much as I can, to always connect, to get to see them, and it's always been worthwhile. And yeah, I just think it's so important. I think that probably comes out of a lot of the research I did for the book as well, and realizing how men isolate more and how loneliness becomes a real issue. So it's been amazing. Like, friends that I've had since school, friends I've had from the university, more recent friends, people that I kind of lost contact with, have come back with, and we see each other like weekly. So thank you, guys. It's been incredible. Appreciate you.
I'm emotional, by the way. I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes because I think, the research I've seen around isolation for men, and I know I just, because of what James is doing, I'm just more aware of it. And it breaks my heart. I'm very sensitive to men isolating themselves, that fact that men isolate themselves. And so to see James and his friendship groups, it just brings me so much joy. It really does. And I hope more men feel open to connecting with their fellow friends. Anyway, my next one is connection, actually. So really similar. I kind of talked about that with the LinkedIn thing, but I realize that I isolated myself, not on purpose, but I was so driven with the business that I completely lost sight, really, of the most important things in the world, and that is love, friendship, connection. So it's not just connection with people off LinkedIn or friends and making the effort to reach out and say hello or meet up in person. It's actually my family. I've connected with my family more this year than I ever have, and the gratitude I have for that is off the scale. Like the gift of setting my priorities right in my life, which is love. It sounds very, very woo woo, but those people that you love in your life, show them how much you love them, connect with them, make the effort. Because there's nothing more important than that in life. It's not work, it's not status, it's not like how many likes you have or money or anything. It's those special people in your life. And I'm so glad that I've woken up to how important connection is. So I will put that above everything else now.
Beautiful. So my last one, and I know this will be Claire's as well, is actually faith. So that's become a really important thing for me this year. Um, Basically reaffirming my Christian faith, I think, and leaning into that. And listen, everyone has to find their own way with this kind of thing. Claire and I, have very different styles in how we approach it. But for me, believing in God and knowing He's present in my life has really helped me with things like my patience, my friendships, my connections, my empathy, uh, and it's an ongoing journey, but just a really beautiful one. So I just wanted to acknowledge it publicly. Yes.
Again, a bit emotional. So I'm just going to be really bold. I'm just going to say what's just come to me. So when I started to go to church a couple of years ago, 2.5 years, a couple of years ago, and started to really explore Christian faith, which was the last thing on my mind. If anyone's read any of the posts that I've just started putting out there, this was the last. I did not want to become a Christian. It was the last thing I wanted to do. Honestly, I cannot tell you how much I resisted it. And I have been spiritual all my life, but the new age. So I've always been very anxious and nervous and suspicious of Christianity. So when it hit me like a ton of bricks and I couldn't escape it. Like that's honestly how it felt. Like I couldn't escape this longing and this feeling of unbelievable peace and love and healing, like an unbelievable level of healing that I've never experienced in any way, any other way. So when I started exploring that, I did think at one stage, I know the love that James and I have together, but I thought this is going to be a massive wedge between us and he might leave me. And I carried on. I carried on exploring it and I never pushed him into anything. I never spoke about it too much in front of him. I was very, very cautious, very respectful of not wanting to push any of that on him and just trusting God to work in the way that he was going to work in my life. And if he was going to work in James's, I'd really run the risk of it not working in James's life. But it did. And I didn't do anything. I genuinely don't believe I did anything. I just kept showing up as I was starting to change and transform. And I suppose James, I don't know what happened. It's not for me to say, but it just changed James. And so James opened himself to it. That's all I'm going to say, actually. James opened himself to it. And it has been the most incredible journey, I think, of my life is starting to see him, and the transformation and the healing that's been unraveling in him, and that we have this incredible anchor between the both of us that has helped our marriage like beyond recognition. So this year I was baptized in February. I haven't really shared that publicly, but I am now, because we're at the end of 2025. In February this year I was baptized. I resisted that for a really long time. People were asking me and I just no. But in the end I felt that I really wanted to make a statement to myself and to God that I am Christian. And so I was baptized. And everything since then has just got more beautiful. 2025, I said this to my parents when I saw them a couple of days ago. I was like, 2025 has been my best year on planet Earth. Because, not because of any riches or success, external success or anything, but just because I am experiencing a level of love, joy, awe, childlike wonder, possibility, pain that has just been released. I don't even know where it's gone. So 2025 has been my best year yet, and may it just continue to be a walk with God every year from this moment forward. There will be struggles and challenges, but at least I know that I have him, and I know that James is getting to know him too. So that's that. That was my last one as well.
So there you go, listeners. There is our review of 2025. We would love to know, as always, what resonated with you. What are your thoughts? What have you got in your review of 2025? Drop us a line, team@themidlifementors.com. You can leave comments on Spotify as well. We haven't quite got our heads quite around how that works, but you can.
Yeah, apparently people have left comments. If you have left comments on Spotify, we're so sorry. We can't actually find them or read them sometimes. We're maybe a bit just technophobe, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
And just want to say thank you to all our listeners, old and new. Do please tell your friends, give us a share, give us a review, give us a little rating. And
thank you for being on this journey with us. We're changing a lot. It's been if you've been listening to this since early 2019, there have been quite a lot of changes.
Yeah.
So you really are part of our journey. This is, you're there watching it, listening to it, should I say, and we're just very, very honoured that we have this medium to connect with you, even if we don't necessarily know where it's going and the difference that it's making in some people's lives. Some people reach out to us, and that's amazing. But yeah, like, we just hope that as we grow and we're vulnerable and open and honest about the journey that we are on in this life, that it somehow touches you, helps you feel less alone in some of the struggles that you're going through, and know that we are here if you ever need us, genuinely, seriously. And we're sending you so much love. Happy Christmas.
What let's do is wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We will see you in 2026.
Come on, 2026.
Come on, 2026.
Big hug.
Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And don't forget to take the Midlife Reset Audit now to receive personalised insights into what's holding you back from living your healthiest, happiest midlife. So go ahead and take the audit now at themidlifementors.com/audit.